It's good to see everybody. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. So you caught me hot already. I stretched today. I done warmed up. So you guys caught me hot. It's good to see you guys. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Doing well.
Good, man. Good to see you all. It's always good to see you all. Hey, I'm glad you come because I'm doing it. I'm doing it for me, whether you come or not. So I'm glad you all here. I do it like I'm doing it for me for TV.
That's it.
Yeah, it's always good to see you all. It's always good to see you all, for us all to come together, laugh, and learn, right? And learn. There's so much stuff that we've been told that's not true. So much stuff we think we know that we don't know. We don't know. Even with just the simplest definition of what does this word mean? Boy, you're looking this way and you get hit in the back of the head every week. Just like, well, I thought it meant, right? You looking over here and it's just bang, right? Just things that we just, right? And we don't realize why we're off a little bit. It's like somebody tells you, go north and that's south. You're putting all your effort into something based on what somebody told you. And then that's why a lot of times people quit. It's not because people are inherently lazy or stupid. It's because they've been purposely miseducated, misled, misdirected, or even ignorantly, but nobody puts enough time to actually figure out what's north and south for themselves. They want somebody else to do it and give them the answer. And you're a slave. You're a slave to the information they gave you and to the person who gave it to you. But you've grown and you don't want anybody to tell you what to do. But you don't know nothing. You're just a 48-year-old, 5-year-old.
There's the psychology term is cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
So you exclude all information that opposes the thing that you believe to be true.
And the key word in that sentence is believe. You believe something you don't even know. You believe in something. It's not important to you to believe it. It's not important enough for you to research. It's not. It's not. You believe that, but yet you can't tell me who said it, where they said it, why they said it. You can't give me any context about this thing. And then you wonder why you don't know what you're talking about. And why I heard this lady one day say, you don't know enough to talk to me. When she said that, I was like, yeah, that's it. Right on. We're not, what did your boy, John Henry Clark say? I only converse with people. I only converse with people who know what they're talking about. Everybody else I educate. Like, if you don't know what you're talking about, stop talking. But most people don't know what they're talking about. So then everybody keeps talking because you don't know what you're talking about. And the person that you're talking to doesn't know what they're talking about. And they don't know you don't know what you're talking about. So you don't know they don't know what they're talking about. So you guys have a good conversation about nothing. Yeah, my daughter's going to school every day. She's getting bullied. Who's the boyfriend? Who is that? They be thinking, what are you talking about? They're getting bullied. I'd be like, oh, okay, you don't really know what the word means. You just talking like everybody else talking. So you're going to get what everybody else gets. How you like that? How that tastes? How that works? I love it. Mom said, you like it? I love it. And it's funny because we're going to go into this today, this concept of information in the mind and things like that. This is literally what we're going to be talking about today, things like this. So this was actually a great segue into that.
We got to record this moment and put it out in the world, because the one thing I have family members who say to me that something is true, and I say, what's your proof? Tell me the background of how you came to this decision. And they're like, but there's some YouTube videos. You can look it up on YouTube.
It's okay. Have you done that? And they can, if they say either one is no or yeah, okay, if you did it, then what do I got to do? Tell me what it said.
100%.
They can't even do that. So you know there's YouTube videos and you watch it, but you can't tell me what it said. Or there's YouTube videos and you didn't watch it, but you want me to watch it, but you didn't watch it. You want me to watch it and you want me to believe what you didn't watch, but what you're telling me. That's what you're telling me?
And you can't even point me to the exact video. You want me to just go research, go through YouTube and find the thing that you watched that convinced you that X is Y. And
can't make it up.
Yeah. And then if I don't do it, I'm an idiot.
Yes. Yes. No, I'm telling you, man, this stuff, it gets funny. People don't realize how much they're talking to me and I'm not listening at all. I'd be sitting there and I'm over here doing math in my head. I'm over here, oh yeah, I got to pick my daughter up later today. So then I'm going to go. And they just talking. I'm like, oh yeah. Once I just know, I'm just like, okay. It's just like an oil change. Sometimes you just got to let the oil run out. You just got to just drain it, let it run out before you can put something new in there. Just unscrew the cap. Okay, they open their mouth. Now the oil's just draining. Just go on ahead. We'll wait. Just go ahead. Just go on ahead. Just so All right. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Happy Saturday. Most of you came in here, already got this hot sauce rolling on you, but we're going to keep it rolling for everybody else. Everybody else going to get some drip today, right? Welcome, everybody. It's really good to see you. Every week is good to see you all. Every week, I'm grateful that you come. I'm grateful to be able to come together and reason with you all, for us to have great conversation, for us to learn and to know and to remember who we really are so we can act like it and live like it, because that's what this is all about. So thank you all for coming. Welcome to another Mindset Saturday. And we're here living and learning so we can live the way we should, as we should. Welcome. All right. So I'm going to start off with this word. Some of you already heard it early. So for you that didn't, this is for you. And for those that did, you can get a good laugh like I did. All right. This is one of these. Sometimes I get words just because they're words of the moment, words of the time, right? All right. So for you that already heard what I said earlier, not for you, for those that didn't, bully. What does this word mean? So the people that can't say anything, saying nothing, and the people that don't know saying nothing, somebody has to say something. Well, not you.
A bully is a mean person who doesn't understand their worth or their value. They feel like they have to control people to get what they want. They don't know their value.
Now, the people that heard it, isn't that funny? That's what a judge thinks. They're like, what? And so it's so Sparkle Bailey, I'm just using you as an example, right? Because they heard it before you, right? Okay, bully. All right, that's one. Who else?
I would say a bully is somebody who tries to exert their power over somebody who they think is lesser than them.
Okay.
And they do it over a period of time. And
Okay.
the other person is like afraid of that person.
Who? All right, one more.
The victim is afraid.
Okay. One more. Oh, he's on here. That's perfect. Kari Clemens.
Coach, I heard you earlier, but I'm gonna just say, bully is my kids.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like it. What do you want now? Like, good Lord, this is relentless. All right, let's see. Kari, you on here?
Just got in. Sorry, I had to take it off of mute. Good
All
morning.
good. What does bully mean?
Bully is when you are trying to coerce someone else to do something that you want against their will, probably more than once.
Mm-hmm. So all three, everybody that answered today is an example of what we're going to talk about today, because all of us are. But I want us to understand. Now, let's just say, Johnny, what does bully mean?
The actual term,
Yes.
sweetheart. It means sweetheart,
Term of affection.
term of endearment.
That's what bully means. Now, Johnny and everybody else knows because they heard me say it earlier in the call. My point is that when somebody knows what they're talking about, isn't it interesting when you hear other people say the same word and they have something completely different? Because of the way everyone is using it now, but they're using it connotatively. They're using it as they have come to know the word, but not necessarily as the word was created to mean. And so when we are living in the world, when we're living in life, we have a whole bunch of connotative meanings, understandings, behaviors, definitions, and things like that based on what we have agreed to in society and what everyone is saying, but it's not necessarily the truth. And when you know and you hear somebody else talking, it's amazing how different you can see where the disconnect comes in. And so they got to hear it early. So everybody would have said the same thing, but they just got to hear it early. But I use it as an example of this word bully means sweetheart as a term of endearment. It was created in the 1500s.
So Renee said there are three meanings. Do you mean that is the original definition?
Yes, the original definition, the definition of bully is sweetheart as a term of endearment that was exchanged between both sexes. That's what the word means. Now, how it's being used now, it has, what did they say? It says it has degraded into what it means now. See, the truth is the highest. When things start changing into something that's not the truth, it's degradation. It's degraded. It loses its actual value. Because when something is not being used as it's meant, it loses the value. It loses what it was created for.
Amanda put in the chat in the 16th century, it says.
If you go back to the 1500s, if you go back and look at, if you go to etymology dictionary, you go back into the 1500s, it is sweetheart, the first definition, sweetheart, right? So it's a term of endearment. And then as the centuries go on, people start watering it down, changing it a little bit, and things like that. But that's what it actually means, right? All right, next one. And you'll see why I split it up like that, the people who knew it and the people who didn't, because I want us to understand this is going to go all throughout today's class, the way we're doing it. But this is just a beginning. Audio. What does that word mean? Sound. Okay. To hear. Okay. Video.
Visual.
Audio means those things. It means I hear. It means I see. It's Latin. It means I hear, I see. That's what audio means. I hear. Right? It's a conjugation. The O is signifying singular. Right? But it's still the same to hear and to see. It just means I hear. I see the way it's conjugated. Yo veo means I see in Spanish. Right? Ver is to see. That's the word. Right? Veo is the conjugation of singular, I see. Right? So audio is singular, I see. I hear. Video, I see. Comes from Latin word. I hear, I see. All right. Last one. These are all, remember, all of the stuff that we're doing is to open up our mind to say, do we really know what we think we know? Are we really believing something that should be believed? Is this actually true? How can we know the truth and be free if we don't know the truth? And which things are important enough to know the truth about? Is there something, I don't even know the truth about that. I can make that, being a slave over here, it ain't that bad. They got good health benefits, right? It's no, you want to be free in everything, right? Last one, harlot.
That's a new one for me.
You never heard that word?
No.
Okay.
Excel.
Harlot. What does that word harlot mean?
A loose woman, a philandering woman.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
A woman of ill repute.
Man, you guys are so good, you're wrong. Now, watch how cold this is. Harlot. Harlot is the original word was applied to males. Wasn't applied to females.
Male horse?
It was applied, no.
Oh.
It was a male of disreputable reputation, a
Poor
vagabond,
reputation.
a vagrant, somebody who basically wasn't handling their business, wasn't about anything. It was attached to males not being what they thought males should be. That's what a harlot was. It wasn't attached to women. It was attached to males. Through time, they changed it around. But when you say, oh, you're a harlot, you're not really talking to a woman, you're talking to a man. But now, isn't it funny how the word originally only applied to men and now it only applies to women? Essentially, the way they use it. Like I say, when you go to court, when you go to any type of legal proceedings, when you deal with the law, they don't care about your morals, your ethics, your morality, your personality, your emotions, your opinion. They care about the facts. Do you know what this word means? Or did this happen or not? Or whatever else it is. The laws of nature, the laws of life, gravity, thermodynamics, the mind, sowing and reaping, really knowing what that is, it functions as a law. If you don't know what it is, it doesn't matter. It's not going to work for you. You're not going to get the benefit of judgment on your behalf. You're not going to get that. So we don't need that. All right. So does that make sense to you? It's important for you to know. It's important for you to know, right? Even Webster's dictionary and all these other things that, that we talk about, we have to really realize that there's revised, there's standard, there's iterations of these dictionaries over time, right? And they're changing the words, they're adding words, they're adding YOLO, they're adding all different types of words that come into existence as they come into existence, right? And then they're changing words, their original definitions of words, to connotatively fit how we use them now, because people are thinking, well, you never miss what you never had, right? So then they're like, so the word now is like a Diddy remix. You think it's the original, but it's not. It's a remix, but it's an original to you if you've never heard it before. So the important thing is you have to know if you want to deal with the law. If you want to deal with the laws of mind, the laws of life, you need to know the original definitions of things. That's what it's operating on. It's not operating on your feelings, your opinion, how you change it to make it feel good for you and everything like that. That's not the way it works. We can all agree to anything, but if we're all on Titanic, how are we going to help each other? If we're all sinking, if we're all have the same level of power at the end of the day to not help ourselves, then it doesn't matter what we think. We have to make sure we're in line with the power that matters. You better make sure you got one of them lifeboats, right? You better be in line with the power that matters, right? Those are all important things to remember and understand. Okay. All right. Vanessa, will you pull up that thing that I gave you, please? All right, I'm going to have, yeah, that's fine. It's perfect. Yeah, the top one, the first one is perfect. Yes, thank you. That's perfect. I tried to put it down far so that would happen. So I'm glad you did it differently. Perfect. Okay. I need a volunteer.
Let's go.
All right. Can you read that, please?
We can get any number of men who can do what they are told to do after it is fully explained to them, but the men we will pay anything for are the men to whom a general system of tasks can be explained and who will not afterwards come back for instruction. We are now engaged in doing this coddling undeveloped minds by developed minds, and that is not a process which develops. It is a process which smothers.
So I know that's a big mouthful, right? I know that's a lot for everybody to take in. So I'll leave it up there for a second, for a little bit.
Can I make it bigger?
Yes, make it bigger if you can. Thank you. All right. And I should have punctuated and stuff, but I was copying out for something else. Okay. So everybody take a look at that if you can where you are, right? We can get any number of men who can do what they're told to do after it's fully explained to them. But the men we will pay anything for are the men to whom a general system of tasks can be explained and who will not afterwards come back for instruction. What we are now engaged in doing is coddling undeveloped minds by developed minds, and that is not a process which develops, it is a process which smothers. There's one word in there I want you to change so that it gets the point across a little bit better. We can get any number of men, change men to minds. Men is talking about mankind, which is male, female, which is both people, but minds. We can get any number of minds to do what they're told to do, right? But we will pay for anything for the mind or for the minds to whom a general system can be explained and who will not afterwards come back. If you want, so I'll digress a little bit. I'll digress a little bit. This one thing in here is showing you, for all of you who have businesses, what is this showing you?
I think for yourself versus following like the crowd.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
The ability to think for yourself is much more valuable than the ability to follow directions.
And how do you, and what you said, both of what you said is true. And Kari, to your point, it's much more valuable. How do you know that? What does it say here that tells you that?
We are willing to pay. I'm
Pay
sorry.
what?
Yeah.
Pay
Any
what?
value.
Anything.
Yeah.
So when you all are quoting something for what you do, people are willing to pay anything. If you have that mind. If you have that mind. What does it say? We can get any number of minds who can do what they're told to do after it's fully explained to them. So then what? So do you know what those people get paid? In today's society, what do they call it? What do those people get paid?
Wage.
Minimum wage. You're not getting paid on your personality. You're getting paid on your mind. You're not getting paid on your, I don't care if you're working for someone or you have your own business. Your income is not based on your personality. It's based on your mind. You're getting paid minimum wage because that is the level of your mind. We're not talking about what type of person you are. We're not talking about if you're valuable as a person, but we're not talking about your personhood. We're talking about your performance. That's what you're getting paid for. When you have a minimum wage mind, you are going to get minimum wage only. You can march, you can vote, you can do anything you want. But people don't realize that when you are working a minimum wage job and you strike and vote to get your wage increased, guess what? All you're doing now, if you don't move your mind up with it, you will move that income out of the range of your mind and you will lose your employment. Somebody else with that level of mind will be taking your pay. The mind who is developed, for the developed minds, that's the people that will get paid anything for what they do. They can name their price. We are here every Saturday, what do I always say, to learn how to think, not just what, how. Not just to be conformed to some uniform doctrine, not to be up here with everybody with a certain outfit on, facing a certain way, burning candles and beads. And we're not up here to form some type of organization. That's not why I'm here. And that's not what I'm advocating or selling to you, so to speak. That's not my intention in the message that we talk about every week in all of its varieties and forms. It is for you to understand, like the beginning of these words that we use every week, it's for you to understand that if you develop your mind, you can get paid anything you want. If you don't, you will get paid minimum or below. You will get paid at the level of your mind. And your mind, what does it consist of?
Thoughts.
Okay? Okay?
And beliefs.
Okay? And
Thoughts, feelings, and intellect.
all of those, right? Your mind is a repository. It's like a vault, like a bank vault. What's in it is what you're using. So according to the vault, whatever's in the vault is what you can purchase in life, so to speak. Your thoughts, your feelings, your information, right? Your beliefs. That is what your mind is comprised of. And according to whether you got dollar bills, whether you have Bitcoin, whether you have fake money, $100 bills, whatever your mind is comprised of, that is what you're able to purchase. That's the life that you are purchasing, the life you are living. And so we are here to learn how to think, to make sure that our minds are absolutely developed to live any life we want to live, all of us collectively and individually. Whatever turns you on, I'm all with it. I want you all to live the life you want to live. You're not here to live what I think you should live or how I think you should live. That's not what I'm purporting to you. That's not what I'm conveying to you. I don't care what you do or what you want. I just want you to have what you want. And so what we're here every Saturday to do is to make sure that we are thinking properly, that our mind is developed and developing, that we are meeting the acquaintance of our mind and making sure that we have in there what we need, we throw out what we don't, and we make sure that we have and we use what we're supposed to have accordingly to live, to purchase the life we want, to live the life we want, to select the life we want. But you have to develop your mind, meaning you have to pay attention to it. You have to keep it clean, like anything, like your house, like your car, like your bank vault. You have to make sure it's organized and neat and clean and has what is usable and nothing that's not. And most of us have a whole bunch of junk. We have a whole bunch of minimum wage. So we want a better life, but we have a minimum wage mind, and then we call it a struggle. Of course it's a struggle. You want to live beyond your means. You don't think that way. You don't have that type of money. You don't have those type of thoughts, feelings, beliefs. You don't have those. It's not that you can't, you just don't. So if you would like to live a better life in a better neighborhood or a better car or better, whatever better is to you, you are going to have to raise your level of mind, your level of consciousness. You're going to have to improve or increase what's in there. You may have to get rid of some things that are in there that are taking up space and messing with the things that should be there. You may have to improve or increase the appropriate and eliminate or decrease the inappropriate. If you can do that, you will get paid anything, whatever you want for what you do. If you don't, you're going to be told what to do. Because what does it say? We can get any number of fools who will just do what we tell them to do. But that's why we pay them minimum wage, because they can't think on their own, or we're not asking them to. And as soon as they're done with that task, they come right back. What else you want me to do? Just like our kids, when they're doing some chores, what else you want me to do? Clean up this, clean up that, clean up that. Yeah, they don't really want to do it. They're doing it because they have to. They're doing just enough to be able to get them money for them Jordans or go to the movies tonight or do whatever else it is. But so they get love, but they don't necessarily get a level of respect that they would like the outcome of. If they don't do it properly, they don't do it with a good heart, or they don't do it with nobody wants to see somebody sulking and mad and you helping them out, so to speak, right? We have to eliminate the minimum wage mind, or you're going to have to alter your desires. One of the two. You're going to have to figure out which one you want to do, right? But going up in the Dollar Tree looking for organic everything is probably not going to work out. It's just not. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But just saying, if you're looking for something different, it doesn't exist there. Right? If you develop and raise your level of mind, you will get paid anything. Your mind just has to be at the level of paid anything. And what's happening now is that most of us in society are being coddled. Just like Leslie was talking about, oh, people sometimes say, oh, you should believe this. And you're like, why do you believe it? You can go look over here, or you can go, okay, yeah, I can do that. But you tell me why you believe it. They can't even articulate their own belief. They can't even tell you what they believe, why they believe it, when they believed it. Did they exchange this belief for something else or something else for this one? They can't even walk you through the process of their belief, yet they will hold on to it like you in Hurricane Katrina on a tree. Just holding on. They will hold on, they won't let it go. And you're holding on to things that don't serve you, that are actually a disservice to you. You can't articulate them, don't understand them, don't apply them. It's obvious. And yet you want to sell them to me to buy it. And mad that I don't buy it, but you're not mad that it's not even working for you. And you mad at me that I won't join the club that's not working for you. That's like somebody standing on the shore watching Titanic go down, and they're on Titanic talking about, hey, come on in, the water's great. No, I think I'll stay right here on this land, and maybe I can help you get out, but whether I can or can't, I'm not going that way. I don't owe you that. I'm not going that way. Will you go to the next one, please? That's cool. Appreciate it. Okay. Another volunteer.
I'll go.
Just do it.
Okay. Oh, I was about to say I'll go, but that's fine.
Oh, no, go.
Make it fit.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. We're just going to make it fit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay, go ahead.
back.
So hold on 1 second. Before you do, so remember what we just talked about. Minimum wage, maximum wage, whatever you want to get paid. Take a look at what's being written here with that in context in your mind. Okay, go ahead.
You know how some men cheapen their college diplomas by getting them for as little work as possible? And you know that the diplomas they receive means nothing? I hope that very few of you have that bitter realization today. There are no employers at college in the work of study. But at a great many undergraduates assume the attitude of employees and give as little as possible for what they get. They cheat nobody but themselves. The service of study is meant for nobody but themselves. They impoverish their lives and impair their own efficiency by their neglect. They are unprofitable servants to themselves. They have skimped their services 50% and make their future associates and business receivers of their bankruptcies, reorganizers of their energy. They will not deceive themselves later about their profit and loss account.
Once again, that's a lot of words. So let's take it from the top. So people, it's saying that people, right? You know how some minds, right? Minds, right? We're back to that again. You know how some minds cheapen their college diplomas by getting them for as little work as possible. They don't want to read the book. They're going to read the Cliff Notes. They don't really want to go to class because it's a little cold outside, and they were out last night, and they'll get the notes from somebody in class. They find their way to graduate, but they've taken as many shortcuts as they possibly could. So now they got a paper that says that they have done something or that they know something, but when you put them out in the world, doesn't look like it. There's no ambition, there's no fortitude, there's no aggression, there's no assertion, there's no conviction, there is no vision. They just have something that says they participated long enough to get it, but not necessarily their level of participation, not necessarily their level of interaction, their level of focus and commitment. It doesn't really say that. So then they say, and so they get those diplomas and it means nothing. So then it says, I hope that very few of you have that bitter realization today. I hope all of you, this was Woodrow Wilson, one of our presidents in the early 1900s, a raging racist, but he went to Princeton and he's given a commencement speech at Princeton. And he's talking to the graduates of Princeton, both of these paragraphs that we're reading, the one before this one and this one. And he's talking to them about that. So he says, I hope that you don't have that realization today. He says, there are no employers at a college in the work of study. So since there's no employers, that means there's no oversight. So that means everybody's doing just enough to get by, because most people don't actually have the internal drive or the awareness to realize opportunity. They only see it as glorified obligation. I got to be here, but at least I'm somewhere I want to be, or at least I'm out the house. Hey, what you doing later on tonight? Nobody's really looking at the opportunity they have. They only see it as obligation because there's no employers. So a great many undergraduates assume the attitude of employees and give as little as possible for what they get. They do just enough to get by. But since there's no employers, there's no oversight, they don't realize the next thing. They cheat nobody but themselves. You the one that's going to come out of here with a degree, paper, and either you're in debt or somebody else spent their money on you and you have cheated, but you'll cheat nobody but yourself. Because what does it say? The service of study is meant for nobody but that individual, but that mind, that person's mind. It's only for you, yet you cheat you. You do as little as you can to get what you want and then wonder why you don't have enough. How come I don't have enough in the end? You did as little as you could to get it. How do you do as little as you can and get as much as you want? Where did it do that? The service of study is meant for nobody but themselves. And then as a result of doing as little as you can, what happens then? They impoverish their lives and impair their own efficiency by their neglect. So it's not the white man's fault, the black man's fault, black woman's fault, black man's racism, sexism, this and that. No, it's your mind that is inefficient, ineffective, insufficient, unaware, unprepared, undisciplined, unsuccessful. It's impoverished by the little bit that you do trying to get the most out of that. You're impoverished. You impoverish your own life and impair your own efficiency, your own ability by your own neglect. Now, this is coming from a white man. This is coming from somebody. So it's not like he's saying we're just going to make it no matter what we do. He's saying, no, you don't. He's not giving himself a pass or anyone that looks like him a pass. He's saying, no, you impoverish your own self by your own neglect, by doing as little as you can. And you cheapen your mind. You cheapen your mind. You do that. And so then you're an unprofitable servant to yourself. And if you're unprofitable to yourself, what do you think you are to someone else? Profitable? That's why you get minimum wage or less. Because you can't make them any money. What you do is not really making them any money if you work for someone else. And what you do can't make you any money. That's why most people can't have their own business. Because you are your first business and you are impoverished. You are your first business and you are lazy. You are your first business and you have cheapened your mind by doing as little as you can. So you're an unprofitable servant. What do you say first? To themselves. What you do to you will eventually be done to you. What you think about you will eventually be thought about you. It always starts with you first. Always. But nobody recognizes it until the boomerang comes back. It's all fun throwing it until that thing comes back. Till that thing comes back. But what did it say? They're profitable service to themselves. They have skimped their services 50%, but want to march to raise the minimum wage. And they make their future associates in business receivers of their bankruptcy. So now you want to go into somebody else's business when you've cheated yourselves, you've impaired your own efficiency, you've impoverished your own life, you're an unprofitable servant or employee or even employer, and now you want to walk into the business and you want them to be receivers of your bankruptcy and reorganizers of your own energy, of your own indolence, indigence, ridiculousness, and stupidity. You mad they won't hire you. Girl, I didn't get the job. I don't know why. What do you mean why? Did you hear yourself? Were you prepared? Could you talk about yourself properly? Could you convey your history or your experience? Did your mind show that you deserve maximum and not minimum? Did your mind sound cheapened or did it sound sharpened? And it's hard to have a sharp mind with 50% effort. But what is he talking about? He's not even talking about labor. He said minds. The mind, your mind is your income that produces outcomes. You want to raise your salary? Raise your mind. I want to learn how to make more money. You better learn how to think better and different than what you're doing, because you can't make more money with the thoughts you have. Because if you could have, you would have. You can't keep the same thought and get a different tax bracket. Hello, anybody listening? You can't do it. You can't do it. You won't have the idea and therefore the performance that does that. You won't do it. So you want somebody else, you want to go to somebody else, future associates in business. You want to go to a future associate in business and then have them reorganize your energy, reorganize your bankruptcy. But what does it say at the end? Be not deceived. God is not mocked. That which a mind sows, it shall reap. That's what it's essentially saying. They will not deceive themselves later about their profit and loss account, about your profit and loss statement, about your checking and your savings. You will not be able to deceive yourself then. Oh yeah, I'm a boss. I'm grown. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Hey, everybody see my new Chanel purse? Everybody see my new Bentley I got? Everybody see me out here doing it for the gram? Everybody see me out here going ham? Everybody see me out here eating spam? That's what's gonna happen in the end. Everybody's out here. Everybody's out here trying to, no, if you want to live a different life, a better life, if you want to upgrade, then guess what? You got to do NBA, and you got to do like Ice Cube and drop NWA, Beyonce and drop Destiny's Child. You got to be like R. Kelly and drop them, not like him literally, but drop the group he was with. Got to be like Omarion, drop the group they were with. You got to be like James Brown and strike out on your own. Hardest working man in show business, the first entertainer to have their own private jet. You have to drop. You're gonna have to drop some cargo. You know, you're gonna have to drop the Jackson 5. Tito, I'm gonna see you on Thanksgiving, but I got to do this tour on my own, brother.
Not Tito.
Jermaine, love you. Now you know what, Jackson? No, Janet, you can come.
Yeah.
Janet, you can come though. There's some thoughts you need to take. There's some thoughts you need to drop. There's some beliefs you need to hold on to. There's some ones you need to drop. Ain't no hard feelings. But Tito, nobody coming to see you, brother. Nobody, Jermaine, nobody care about you either. Nice afro and all, but nobody cares. Janet, come on, we gone. We gone, right? There's some thoughts you need to take with you, and there's some thoughts you need to drop. Because that is what's actually being held in your mind. That's what's either making your mind sharp or dulling it. It's either cheapening it, so just go on and look forward to that minimum wage. Go on and look forward to check. Go on and look forward to your business and your health rising and lowering like the economy. COVID, you sick. Recession, you broke. Go on ahead. You might as well move out where I am, be a surfer. Just ride the waves. That's what you're doing. You don't have any control over yourself, control over your life, control over your mind. How do you have control? Can't control you. You can't control anything. And if you don't control your mind, you don't have anything left. There's nothing else but that. Your physical world is nothing but a reflection of it. I've been nice the last couple of weeks because it was the holiday season. It's up. It's over. Now the real me is coming out. Ain't no more flowers. It's the 5th date. Flowers are up. No more nice guy. And the facade is up. The facade is up. The gig is up, y'all.
Coach Monique said she's trying to find her face.
The gig is up. Santa has left. The reindeers are gone. All the sales are gone. Now everything's back to full price. Yeah, all things back to full price. You can't tell them, well, it was Christmas a week ago. Yeah, it ain't today. Yeah, it was nice a week ago. Not today. Gig is up. Gig is up. If you want to get paid, you're going to have to make an investment in your mind. You're going to have to realize that if there is no employers at college in the work of study, So therefore, a great many undergraduates assume the attitude of employees and give as little as possible. If you don't think, if somebody has to watch you for you to give your max effort, for you to be your best self, if somebody has to pump you up and motivate you and do push-ups with you and push-ups for you and make your tea and rub your back, you don't want what you want. You just like to have it. But you really would really like it. You want it if somebody's going to give it to you. But if you got to actually do something, you're not really about that action. You're not really about that life. That's not really what you want. You want it if somebody's going to give it to you. But that is the developed mind coddling the undeveloped mind. And it does not breed success. It only smothers. Hey, man.
There's no breaks.
There ain't no breaks. This is like a forest fire in California burning for days. There ain't no breaks.
The way I'm yelling, I can't stop laughing, please.
That's it. It's just small. It's just smoke everywhere. That's burning so
everybody. He is
yeah.
everybody.
Hey, man. Shoot, I'm telling you. Man, I'm telling you. See, it got me upset. I almost threw the marker, but I'm not giving it up.
Not yet.
No, it's not yet. Got
Take the time.
till I come to the crescendo. Like it's opera. That's it. That's it. That's it. So I want us to understand that this morning. I want us to understand your mind is everything. That repository that you're holding your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs, right? The thing that you're actually, this thing that you're using and using these things coming out of it is creating what you call your reality. And so many of us, the world, but we're the ones actually trying to do something about it. But so many of us are doing as little as we can to get as much as we like, much as we want. We got a shortcut for everything. Nobody wants to sit down and deal with their mind. Nobody wants to sit down and read. Nobody wants to sit down and actually listen to something and take it in and say, how does that make me think? What does that make me think about? Not in guilt, not in regret, not in fear, not in depression, not in anger, not in blame. No, but just an opportunity to change and say, hey, you know what? I think I want something different. I want something different. And I have the ability to do that. But if we're not willing to use what we have and we try to do as little as we can to get as much as we can, then you're going to live minimum wage your whole life. It's hard to do things from there. Hard to go on vacations, hard to buy anything you want when you want it. And Lord help you if there's an emergency. So everybody's fighting to raise it. Yeah, but then most people don't realize that when you raise the wage, you raise the skill requirement. And most people's skills don't raise. They don't actually work on them. They don't actually develop anymore. They just want to get paid more year after year for doing the same thing. It doesn't become more valuable. So how do you become more valuable? So then how do you actually make more money? You get paid according to your value, to what you can produce, whether it's for yourself or someone else. And your value is a direct result of your mind, meaning the components, the information that you're using to perform with. If that is insufficient, so will your outcome. If that's not developed, you're going to get that. If it's not determined, if it's not, that's what we're going to get. All right. We're going to move on now, take a break, move on. Now, is there anything anybody wanted to say about that before I go into the next thing? I want us to understand that. I want us to understand that. Yes.
It's like, I just want to laugh. I just want you to hear me laughing because like you did not give anybody a break. The chat is blowing up. Like I said in the chat, if anybody is going to read me to filth, it's going to be Coach Lucky. That's the only person on the planet I will let read me to filth because you do it in a way where you're educating us, you're informing us, you are including us, you're not excluding anyone. This is love. It doesn't feel like we're being humiliated or anything like that. Like Kari, he admitted some things in the chat. It just was like a ripple effect. I started admitting things out loud that I was admitting to myself. This is it's something, I don't know. I'm done. I don't know.
Yeah,
This
and
is
I think I like what Kari said because he was so raw and real about it. He basically said that, this is him at work. He doesn't give it his all, but with his own projects, he's like giving it his all. And I think that's very important because you want to make sure you give your all no matter what, because that's your brand. That's who you are and how you show up. So that was real. Thank you for sharing because that's something we all go through that at some points in our journeys. And we have to realize how we show up is for ourselves, not for anybody else, right?
Yeah.
No, it's all good. Yeah, they're probably going to fire me. Honestly, it's weird. I go through this internal battle inside my mind because of that whole statement of how you do one thing is how you do everything. I hear that constantly, and I'm always battling with that. I'm like, no, everywhere else I'm doing really well, but this one place I don't care about them. But there's part of me that knows that is my brand, and that is what those people think of me. And so I battle with, do I give them enough to just get my benefits and get paid? Or do I actually go in there and give them my time the way I should give them my value? So anyway, that's my struggle right now.
I'll just inject real quick before anybody else has anything to say. For me, anytime I run up against something like that, if I don't love what I'm doing, I love me. So I love me enough to do it the way I want it to be done. Because I don't want nobody looking at me crazy, talking to me crazy. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody. So I may not love what I'm doing, but I love me. So I'm going to do, then my reflection is not a love of my work, but it's a love of myself. And as long as you love yourself enough, then you can say, I can love what I'm doing, or I can love me enough. And if I don't love, that's cool. You don't have to love everything. That's not you. So we don't have to. But you can always love yourself enough to say, because I love me enough, they're going to catch this fire. They're going to, every time they see me, think about me, talk about me, they get in that action. Not because I love them or I love it, but because I love me. And since I'm here, then if they're going to talk about me, they're going to talk about me the way I want to be talked about. Right? So we can always love ourselves enough to perform, even if what we're performing is not lovable.
That's also how you get to
that
the
was
next
amazing.
level. So
Go ahead, Leslie. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just saying that's how you get to the next level too, so that you don't have to stay in the thing that you don't love. That's how you move in a forward direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's my problem. I don't want to advance at the job. I want to leave. That's the issue. But anyway, I don't want to take away from the meeting. You guys can go ahead.
For your own next level.
Mm-hmm. And your own next level is the habit of doing everything as awesome as you can do it, because it's a reflection of you. You are awesome. So if you are awesome, then how could anything you do not be? How could anywhere you go not be reflected like that? Everywhere you go, you're married. That never changes. So if you're awesome, everywhere you go, you're awesome, because that's who you are. Who you are is not based on where you are or what you're doing. It may change how we feel about it. That's cool. We don't have to love everything we're doing. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I took out the trash this morning. Was I celebrating on the call? Like, everybody, I got to take out the trash this morning. Boy, woo. But anybody knows me is I want my respect all the time, every time, about everything. So I take out the trash because that's a form of me getting it. I can't say I want respect and then I don't take out the trash, or I want this and I'm not willing to do the things it takes to get it. I don't have to love what it takes to get it, but I love me enough to get what I want from getting it. So I take out the trash with a smile because I know at the outcome, I'm going to get a thank you. Not because I shouldn't have done it, but just because somebody appreciates the fact that I did what I should do. And that is the habit. And so that we create the habit of performance constantly. It ain't personal, it ain't more emotional, it ain't moral or ethical. It's just, this is what I do because this is who I am. And as long as I am that, this is what you're going to get. And everybody around me is going to get this thing. It's not up or down or less or right or left or right, for depending on who it is or where I am, because that's what I am. If I'm married, what next to her, but I'm unmarried 3 blocks away, it ain't gonna work out, right? If I'm great here, but I'm poor there, then that's not really me. Because I can't say I'm great if I'm not great here, or I can't say I'm poor if I'm not poor here. What am I? A double-minded mind is unstable. A double-minded mind is unstable, right? You can't serve 2 masters. You got to figure out, all of us, we have to figure out which one it is we want to be. We can't be up here. There ain't no tightrope act, right? Can't be a blood and a crip. You got to be one. You got to pick, right? You got to pick. And where I'm from, you got to pick, and you got to know which one you in at all times, right? Stuff like that. From what you wear to how you walk to how you act, everything matters in the neighborhood you in. It's the same thing. And the mind we're in is a neighborhood. It's an environment. Everything matters. So we get to choose our environment, but not what matters, right? Yes, Les.
I wanted to say that's how I started my first business. Was I didn't like my job, and I just decided that I was going to do the best job I could possibly do, and I was going to pay attention to what people were telling, what was feeding back to me. And after a few months of just being on it, I had people at work telling me, you should start your own business. And that was the prompt to say, I got where I wanted to go. I got good enough that everybody recognizes I'm bigger than this.
Swaddles talks about that all the time, like talking about how if you are somewhere and you want to be somewhere else, how basically you excel so great where you are that you basically fire yourself out of there. You basically raise yourself out of your environment. Your greatness just expands almost like a balloon, and it raises you out of your environment. You just take over, right? You just grow so immensely that you just outgrow where you are. You don't even have to leave. You just outgrow it. You just, like a balloon leaving your hand, you let it go and it's gone, right? Same thing. You just literally outgrow where you are, right? By the consistent application of your greatness. To Les's point, Wallace Wattles talks about that all the time in the science of getting rich. Talks about that. Okay, anyone else before we move forward?
I knew somebody was gonna call me out. I said, I'm not gonna talk. Somebody gonna call me out. Okay. See, that's what I've been doing, is intentionally playing small. So I needed this conversation. Thank you. This falls right into alignment with a call that some of us were on last night. And instead of stepping into my power, I play the background because I don't want to be responsible for what comes with stepping into my leadership position. I have decided to stop playing. Thank you for lighting the fire, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we have to always remember is that whatever it takes for us to be us is what it takes. So if that means that leadership is required for you to be whatever it is you want to be, that's what it takes, right? It's not about who else benefits from it. It's the fact that this is what's required for you to be you. It's not about what somebody else likes or agrees on or approves. This is what it takes for you to be you. Sometimes, have you ever been in a car and you're trying to get somewhere and then somebody steps out in the crosswalk and you're like, oh God, I gotta stop. They're not asking, they're saying, hey, this is what it takes for me to get across the street, right? It's not for or against someone. It's just, this is what they have to do in order to get across the street. You have to stop because they have to get across the street. So you have to do something, they have to do something in order to get from where you want to where you want to be. So when we don't do that, yeah, other people may not be offended or other people may not be this or that, but we aren't what we want to be either. We don't get to where we want to go if I don't cross the street. I don't get to where I want to go if I don't stop this car and hit the person crossing the street. If we don't do what we're supposed to do for our lives and ourselves, we don't get to where we want to go. We're basically now living our lives for everyone else, but everyone else doesn't have our desires, our wants, or our desired end. So we're not going to ever get to where we want to be. Just the way it is. So we always have to remember that. Sparkle Bailey, yes.
Okay, Coach. So what if I want to lead and follow? What if I want to be a leader in this, but then I also say like in a marriage or something, just like in a marriage, let's take a marriage, for example.
Yeah.
What if I want to follow my husband? What if that's been like ingrained in me and it feels organic, it feels natural? I know since the 10th grade, I saw myself as a housewife.
Wow.
So like, what about in those spaces? Do you lead at submitting or do you lead at following? Is everything leadership? If you decide to be a leader, are you a leader across the board in your whole life? Like the part that I read, it was just like, go get this instruction. Don't ask no questions. Study for yourself. Mm-hmm. And then you have people who come back and they ask 1,000 questions. I'm the type to ask 1,000 questions because I honestly, like you said, I really don't want to do it. I just want to follow you. Mm-hmm. So is there something wrong with me? No, I'm just playing. I know it's nothing wrong with me, but I'm just curious. Is like, where's the balance in all of that?
There's a balance in everything. In some areas of life, you want to be this or that. In some areas of life, you want to be this or that. You can be both. You can lead when you lead and follow when you follow. I love to talk, if you guys didn't know, but Veronica and anybody knows will tell you, I can get quiet for hours.
Yes.
Watching something, reading something, the same thing over and over and over and over. And that's why I can quote 1,000 books or this or that, because I read. I'm following, meaning I'm listening or I'm reading what somebody else wrote. Right. And in that moment, that is the best thing in the world for me, because I'm learning and I'm developing my mind and I'm getting access to information and things like that. So that when I get on this call or when I'm teaching somebody, when I'm training somebody, when I'm doing other things in my life, now that time that I have followed allows me to be a better leader. Right. And then while I'm leading, I'm basically using all the things that I followed with. And then I come back around and I'm back to following again as I'm getting gas from my gas tank again. I'm going from leading to following to leading. It's like a cycle. It's a balance. It's like day and night. It's not one or the other. You just may be doing one or the other at any moment and point in time. And as long as both of those you're happy with and you're happy in and you feel good and that's what you are wanting to do, then you're winning. If you're forcing yourself to do that, if it's not really what you want to do and you're all the other stuff, then that's, now you could be doing the right thing just the wrong way, or you may be doing the wrong thing, just period. For you, it just depends on what would actually be happening. But point is that you can lead and follow, whether you're dancing with someone, whether that's what you're doing on a freeway, leading and following, right? That's what you're doing in a supermarket with a grocery cart. You're in front of some people, behind others. Some people on the side, some people, and all you're doing is navigating depending on the moment and the time. You're switching positions, right? And that's all you're doing. So you can do both. You don't have to do one or the other at all.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Anyone else? Before we move on, just want to make sure because
Hey, just real quick, I noticed that there was the mention of the housewife thing and that possibly being a subservient thing. I want to say that my wife chose to be a housewife as well. And I'll let you know that she is one of the greatest co-operators of our household. She leads in so many ways. And I've realized that job of being a housewife is probably harder than a typical 9-to-5, a lot harder. So don't think that it's negative in any way, and don't think that it's a subservient in any way. That's actually a very demanding job. I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Kari. Thank you for
No
that.
problem.
Shout out to your wife. Shout out to all the housewives. It is demanding. Thank you for the credit from the male side. Just thank you for that, because like it is very much demanding, and you are a leader. You're a leader of the home in your own regard, and it's a lot of work. It's a whole lot of work. But thank you for just saying that, and shout out to your beautiful wife. Thank you.
All good. Thank you.
Have moments where one leads and the other one follows, and depending on what's happening, vice versa. Right? It's not always one way, if that makes sense.
Because we all have different strengths and gifts. We all have different things we're good at. I don't really like to pay bills. I just like to get the money. I don't like to be bothered with paying them. I don't like to sit around and figure out when they're due. If something needs to be done, let me know and I'll take care of it. But I don't like to sit there and click and clacking and submit. I don't feel like doing all that. But I don't mind the responsibility of, if I need to, saying, okay, I'll do this to get something, or I'll do this, or whatever else it is. It's just, we all have strengths and weaknesses, things that we enjoy, things we don't. I don't mind doing laundry. Like for me, I don't mind it. I like smelling the soap. I like watching it go around like I'm 5 years old. I'll sit there at the glass. Wow, that's pretty cool. Like for me, I don't mind doing laundry. There's just, we all have strengths and weaknesses. We all have things that we like or don't like. And so just having that balance in life within ourselves, within our life, and with other people in our life is the best of all worlds. It's the complete world. Absolutely, it's a complete world.
That's
Okay.
because Lucky had a housekeeper all of his life, so he enjoys the simple things now.
Mom, don't they
I
tell
think
you
that was
don't give away
Mom,
insider
but yeah.
information? What is wrong with you talking? You're telling me you're talking in front of all these companies, so you're acting out in front of company. You're acting up in front of company. You told me don't do that, and now you're acting up in front of company. See how this is?
Mom's paid for it.
Oh yeah, she did.
Yeah, moms always get prerogative. You can't
Always. Man, I thought I was gonna grow out of being told what to do. That ain't happened. I ain't reached it yet. All right. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. Just in case you're in the car or you're too far to see, standing up, walking around or something. Creation is finished. Creation is finished. So when you have a desire, what exactly is that then? Or what exactly then is that? What is a desire then? If creation is finished, if everything is already done, what actually is a desire?
I'm gonna jump out and say it's a call to step into who you were created to be, because creation is finished.
Okay. 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 Okay.
She went deep. I was just gonna say a want.
A want. Okay. A want.
New
Okay.
experience.
A what?
A new experience.
A new experience.
Self-experience. Yeah, self-experiencing itself, but then experience a new piece of itself. That desire to basically have experience that other observation of itself.
Okay. Anybody else?
Have put an idea.
Okay. Watch this. If now, instead of just imagine creation, imagine it like a vending machine. When you're standing there at a vending machine, what is your currency? Imagine creation is like a vending machine. So creation is finished. So everything in the vending machine is finished. So when you have, if creation is finished, what is your desire?
To have whatever it is that you want to have. Your desire is to attain whatever you want. So if you're looking at the vending machine, I want those chips. I want that candy. Like I want to.
So what is that?
The desire? Like it's I don't know, an ambition? I don't know.
Is that what when you're standing there at a vending machine, are you thinking ambitious? Are you feeling ambitious?
I really, like Ms. Ronette said in the chat, I really want that.
So what is that? What is a word for that? What is it that you're doing?
Selection, choice.
A choice.
It's a choice.
Deciding.
It's a choice. Yes, it's a choice. It's a choice that I want this. I've decided this is what I want. I've chosen and I've decided this is what I want. It's a choice. It's a decision. A desire represents a choice or decision that you can make to purchase what's already in the vending machine. Creation is finished. The chips are already there. The cookies are already there. All you're doing is standing from outside. You're separate from it. You're seemingly separate from it because you have the money in your hand, because you have the desire, that all you have to do is put that in, and you now, that thing that you were separate from, you become one with. You become one with that thing. With the money you put in and the button you pushed, your desire, your creation is finished. Every snack in that vending machine just represents creation. It's already done. It is what it is. Now you stand there looking at it and say, which one of these do I want? Your desire is the choice, is you choosing and deciding which ones you want. And then you put that money in. You now assume the assumption. You now assume that you are that thing. That is your currency. Your assumption is your currency. It's what you put into the vending machine to get the thing that is here for you to become aware, for you to become one with that thing. For that thing that was behind the glass now to be in your hand. Creation is finished. Your desire is the ability to choose from what already exists. You are not creating anything anymore. Creation is finished. Your desire is just letting you know, hey, this thing exists. You created this thing before you came. It's already here. Now that you're in the place where you can have it, the desire comes. Hey, you have this thing here, right? Do you want it? If you say yes, you put the money in, you punch your desire, and the thing becomes one with you. You now have it. But you didn't create it. It was already created. Remember when we talked about last week and I said, if you bought that coffee and you made it, who else do you have to pay? You've already created it. You've already done what it took to get to that point. There's nothing left to pay for. Everything you could ever want in your life called a desire, you've already created it. Just like the vending machine. You're not looking in the vending machine making it up. You're looking at what already exists. Your desire is not made up. It already exists. It's just not in your hand. It's just not in your physical world, whatever it is, but it already exists. You could not choose something in the vending machine that didn't exist. You could not have a desire that doesn't already exist. It already exists. You're just choosing whether I choose this thing and I decide to have it now. And by the assumption that I am it, whether it's I am something or I'm doing something or I be something, that is the currency that you use to get it from the unseen into the seen. If you could be real, the vending machine is real, the snacks are real. But in order to get those things from behind the glass into your hand, you have to put some money in. You have to make a decision. You have to make a choice. You have to push the button. Otherwise, you can stand right next to it knowing which Doritos. I want to have some Doritos. I believe I have some Doritos. I want to have some Doritos. Did you put the money in? Did you make the choice? Did you do what it took to get from inside, outside, into your hand, from inside the machine into your hand? Creation is finished. Whatever's in the vending machine is already there. You didn't make it there. You didn't put it there. It's already there. Whatever desire you have is already finished. That's why you can describe it. That's why you can talk about it. That's why you can tell somebody what it's like or what it feels like or why You're excited about it, what you like about it, why you want it, because you can describe it because it exists. You're looking at it in the vending machine of your mind. It already exists. It's all there. You just have to make a choice and decision. You have to use your currency and say, okay, I now say that whatever is behind this machine is now mine. I push the button. I now assume I'm this thing. Without currency, you can't get anything, right? Without consciousness, you can't get anything. So when you push that button, you're now saying, out of all these options, I'm going to push this button because I want that thing. If I push this button, I get that thing. But if I want this thing, I have to push this button. So I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, F2. You ever push the wrong thing? Oh, God. And got a diet soda instead of a soda, or crackers instead of cookies, right? It's you push this button and you get this thing. You want to push the right button. This is a desire that I want to push. I want to assume I'm this. And that is the physical reflection of that. The assumption of you being it is your currency. And so you're choosing what you want to be. You're not changing the buttons. It's not that you have to change your life as much as you have to choose it. Most of us aren't choosing it. We're just trying to change what we didn't choose. So we wear a size 10, somebody gives a size 8 and say, be grateful, make it work. So we spend all of our time struggling with the shoe, trying to stretch it out and trying to get our foot in it. We're spending too much time trying to change things instead of choosing what we actually want. We're trying to change something when we play small. We're trying to change something when we're just trying to be grateful. We're trying to change. There's nothing wrong with gratitude. That's not what I'm saying. Sometimes I walk around and just say thank you. And sometimes I wake up and just say thank you because it's in there. But my point is, I'm not just saying that to try to be happy with something I don't want to be or do or have. I'm grateful because I realize I can be what I want, do what I want, have what I want. I'm grateful for what I am and can be, not for what I'm not or can't be. I'm not just grateful to be alive and I'm the life giver. How are you grateful to make a living and you made life itself? That's who we really are. So when it says creation is finished, it's just like that vending machine. You're standing here as you, and you're saying, okay, what do I want? What do I desire? What choice do I want to make? It's the same thing. And then you choose, I want this. I'm not choosing chips and then I'm going to try to find a way to make them crackers. I'm not trying to be grateful for something that I have. That's not what I asked for. It's not what I want. I want that. Your desire is for something you want. And you assume you are that, not some part of it, not half of it. Who buys a bag of chips and eats one chip? Who buy, like, why do we not get what we want? Or do we settle for only a little bit of it? Something like it. My mom used to go to Costco and buy that stupid, see, I'm upset.
Uh-oh. Not mom's Costco.
I'm over it. Go to Costco and buy that stupid Neapolitan ice cream in the tub. It doesn't even taste like real ice cream. It's not even real, I don't think. And it's, what, you don't want the ice cream? You don't want it? You don't want it?
Everybody, you see them expensive $4,000 teeth? That's why he still has them.
See, Mom, there's no excuse for that. Is child abuse. I was eating that ice cream and I didn't know whether to throw it up or swallow it, because I wanted it so bad, but it tasted so bad. It was just the worst thing. I'm still having problems over that. See, that's the thing. I don't know, because I don't know if she never had any girls or anything. It was all boys. My mom feels no shame, no guilt, no embarrassment. She feels no empathy, nothing. She's like, I remember one of my brothers came home one day and got a haircut. Barber messed it up and cut it too far back. Everybody was messing with him. My mom was the worst. She was like, man, he cut your hairline back to your butt. Now, who wants to hear that? And you just got the haircut and you're already living with it, trying to make it work. You're already trying to feel that you can push your hair. You're trying to wear a hat in the house. You're trying to wear a hat in the shower. You're so messed up with that haircut, and she's worse than everybody. You got to avoid her, not even your friends. You got to avoid her. There's no empathy or anything now. I don't know if she could be a parent now. She'd probably get arrested for having the bullying and harassment, connotated bullying and harassment. Yeah, man, yeah. But anyway, Mom, please, no more for you today. Okay, that's it. But we're just making choices. That's all your desire is. It's a choice. It's an opportunity for you to make a choice. The choice is already complete. The choice is already assembled as is. You don't need to do anything but select it. You don't need to do anything but assemble it, meaning assume it. You just need to assume it. This is my choice. Here's the button I push. This is my desire. I now assume I'm this thing. And then it will come out of the machine. Does anybody push the button and then go in the back and then figure out how they're going to get in the machine and then figure out how they're going to stick their hand up there and pull it all out and then get your hand caught?
Have you tried?
The assumption, yeah, I tried it. Man, when you're at the boys club all day and you had $5 and you already spent it and you still got 4 hours left, you trying to figure out how you're going to get another snack. You got your arm in all kind of places trying to get just one more bag of this or that and all kind of thing. But it's just the assumption. That is what's actually going to get the thing coming from out of the machine into your hand. From out of your mind into your hand. That is what we call the law of assumption. It's the assumption of being, understanding that creation is finished. So all you're doing is choosing. Moment by moment, all you're doing is choosing. And whatever choice you assume to be true for you, that is what's going to come out of the machine. That's what's going to come into your physical world. Your assumption is your consciousness formed. I'm conscious. Now I'm conscious of being this. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Leslie asked, is desire a remembering of why we choose to come into humanness?
Yes, it's like a grocery list in a lot of ways. It's the things that you wanted to do before you got here. And so your desires are almost like an alarm clock. They're like, bing, remember this, or take a look at this. Now, but when that alarm goes off, do you have to get up? Right? If you make a grocery list and you go to the store, do you have to buy what's on the grocery list when you get to the store? No, there's still a choice, but it gives you the opportunity to choose. Without making a list, you forgot, then you're like, oh God, because you forgot, you didn't have the opportunity. You wouldn't get home and say, oh gosh, if you decided not to buy the ice cream still. Or if alarm never went off, you didn't have the choice necessarily to wake up if the alarm didn't go off, let's just say. So desires are like an alarm. They're like a choice. They're like a grocery list. They're like the things you wrote that you wanted to wake you up at a certain time or you wanted to remember when you got to a certain place. But they're not mandatory. They're not mandatory. They're choices. That is your true freedom, is choice. Your true freedom is not to work 10,000 jobs to get rich. That ain't freedom. Your true freedom is to assume that whatever money you want, you have. I'm now the person that makes $5,000 a month instead of having to work 10,000 jobs to get $5,000 a month. I now assume I make $5,000 a month. Every month I make $5,000. Man, I'm so happy and grateful I make $5,000 a month. Man, I make $5,000 a month. It comes so easy and effortlessly. You're choosing what you have and how you have it. You're pushing the button. And now the machine's job is to get you what you paid for. Your consciousness is the machine. And the button you push conditioned which thing it pulls off the rack to put into your life. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right? Your consciousness is the machine. Whatever you attach to it, whatever button you push is what the machine is going to put out in your life. So when you're conscious and you say, I'm conscious now of making $5,000 a month, I push the button called 5,000. It's the machine's job to get it to you. You did your part. You are outside the machine. Your hand is not the mechanism to get it to you. But your hand was the mechanism to choose what you get. And you let the machine do its part. And the machine will pop it out in your life. That's what it's created for. Your consciousness is the vending machine. Whatever button you push by saying, I am this, I have that, I am this, I'm not that, or whatever, that is what is being plopped out into your life, for lack of better words. Now, have you ever seen like a 3 or 4 year old at a vending machine just pushing all the buttons? Right? Do you know who that is? Do you know what that or who that represents? Who does that represent?
The monkey mind.
Essentially, the immature, ignorant, meaning lack of aware mind. Right? That's just pushing any button. That's us when we're not thinking properly. When we forget who we are and we just start just choosing anything, not even really realizing or recognizing what we're choosing. I just want enough to get by. You still gonna pay for that though. It ain't free. You still gonna pay for that. You're a 3-year-old just pushing all the buttons. No, you're not choosing anything. There's no preference. You're just happy to hit anything. I want to just to get by. You know what? God will never put on you more than you can handle. We're just choosing things. We're just hitting buttons. We're not choosing anything. It's just whatever comes out, we're going to make it work. Why? The mature mind doesn't do that. The mind that knows who it is says, how much is it? Do I want to pay for that? Do I want that? Do I want that right now? Do I have what it takes to pay for it? You go through all those calculations. You decide, you're choosing what experience you want. The immature mind just pushes buttons and then tries to make it work. Accept it as it is. Be grateful and all the other stuff. So your consciousness is the vending machine. Whatever button you push by saying, I am, I desire to be, this is what I want, then that is what's going to come out into your physical world. That is the supreme law. Whatever you desire, when you pick, you believe you have received it and it comes out the machine. As a mind chooses, so is it. When you choose at that vending machine, that's what you get. Immature, younger mind pushes all the buttons and it just picks anything. And now they got apple juice coming out and you want a Diet Coke. And you're like, man, why'd you touch that? So you got to put your kids like behind you while you buying something because you don't want them to get to that button. Because they're excited, they see you pushing it. They just push anything, but they don't realize they're not pushing it with the same level of awareness. We're not all choosing our life with the same level of awareness. You have to push the right buttons. You got to pay attention to which buttons you're pushing. You have to start thinking properly. You have to start paying attention to what emotions and feelings you running on. What thoughts you allow, what are you picking? Because that's what's coming out that machine and it ain't even free. You got to pay for it.
That was fire right there. I don't know if they caught that one. What feelings are you operating on or off of, right? That's
Yeah.
what you said. Yeah, that right there is just.
What are you assuming yourself to be? Because your thoughts are your feelings are a direct reflection of what you're thinking in that moment, even if you don't realize what it is. Your feelings are like seasoning. They go on something. They're not by themselves. They add intensity to something. They add taste, flavor. They add to something. Anybody ever get a plate out and just pour a bunch of seasoning on there and sit down with a knife and a fork and like, let's make it work? No. It's not designed to go on a plate. It's designed to go on food. Your feelings aren't designed to just run around in your mind. They're attached to a thought or thoughts. And a lot of the thoughts we have are habitual, so they're really just our identity. They become consciousness. They become a part of our consciousness. And that's why a lot of thoughts that we have are out of control because our mind is out of control. Our consciousness is out of control. We just hitting the buttons. And the goal here is to awaken our awareness to realize that, hey, I'm awake now. I'm more mature. Let me pick what I want to eat. Let me pick what I want to drink. Let me pick what I want to think. Let me pick how I want to feel. Let me pick. Oh, I can't control what I'm thinking. If you can't, then you out of luck, buddy, because nobody else can. Oh, I can't just help how I feel. But your feelings, if you can't help them, who else gonna do it? They're yours. What do you mean you can't do it? Who else is in charge of that? But you grown. But you don't want anybody else to tell you what to do. But you just can't help yourself. Which one is it? Can't be blood in a crib. Can't do both. Which one you doing? Can't serve two masters. The truth in your opinion. You can't serve both. Which one you want? Choose your own adventure. Got to pick. That's the law of assumption. Now, what people call the law of attraction. What is that? In the law of attraction, what's actually happening? When people call law of attraction, what's happening?
So I teach my community, my femininity community, to become, okay, in order to attract what you desire, you have to become what that thing is attracted to. So in other words, like you put yourself in a position to, when you pour so much into yourself, everything around you just wants to be around. Everything wants to flock to you. So the more you pour into yourself, people notice that. People feed on that. Like we feed on your energy. The more you feed your own brain, Coach Lucky, we are just sitting at your feet. Okay, what else? What else? It's just an automatic, organic type of relationship or reaction. I think it's not even controllable.
Okay. So when you say the more you pour into yourself, the more you pour, the more of what you pour.
Time, education, love. Just
Okay. What about hate?
Yeah, that too. You can pour hate into yourself and then you're going to attract other people that hate themselves as well.
So then what is the law of attraction?
Is it like the energy that you give is the energy you're going to get back?
What creates the energy that you give?
Your thoughts.
Your thoughts.
Your thoughts. Your consciousness, and I saw somebody write magnet, is true. Your consciousness is essentially a magnet. It's what you call in your brain the reticular activation system. That part of your brain that identifies something that you now want, a red car. Now you see 1,000 of them. You want a hamburger. Now you start seeing hamburger stands everywhere. You start to become acquainted with what you become conscious of, even though whatever you became acquainted with was always there, but you weren't conscious of it. So it had no validity in your life. So your reticular activation system didn't hone in on it as valuable and important. So it didn't bring it to your attention. Because if it doesn't have your attention, it doesn't have you. It doesn't have your life, right? So consciousness is the magnet. Whatever you condition your consciousness to be, hateful, okay, let's just start with that one. Hateful. Then your consciousness, the magnet, whatever you're believing it, is now going to draw the physical reflections of that. It's going to draw physical hate, whether it is things you hate, people that hate you, outcomes and circumstances that you hate. Your consciousness, whatever you condition it to be, by saying consciousness plus hate or hateful, consciousness plus healthy, consciousness plus this, whatever that is my consciousness is drawing all men unto me, all minds, all like things unto me. I don't have to look for it. It draws it. So it doesn't matter what I put into myself. There is no limit. It's whatever you put in. It's not good or bad. It just is. Whatever you attach to consciousness by assuming yourself to be, that is what you become. What you become is what you so-called attract. It means that is what you start to see in your physical world as a reflection of you. You do not, Sparkle Bailey, to your point, at the beginning of what you said, because we don't get what we want. We get what we are. We don't get what we want. We get what we are. Whatever we are willing to become, we can have. That's all we ever have. See, this isn't just for the good. This also works so-called for the bad. There is no good or bad to the law. There's no good or bad to gravity. There's no good or bad to electricity. There's no good or bad to the current of the ocean. There's no good or bad to the sun or the moon going up and going down. It's not staying up a little longer for Leslie and then going a little shorter for me. The laws of nature, the laws of the universe, the laws that govern our physical world are governed by consciousness, and they are no respecter of persons because there's only one consciousness. So that means that consciousness is running through us all. So how can it favor you against you? It doesn't do that. It seems like that according to who you conditioned your consciousness to be. I'm loved. I'm hated. Everyone loves me. Everybody doesn't like me. Everybody gets along with me so well. People say I'm hard to get along with. You are literally creating your experiences by the conditioning of your consciousness, by what you are assuming yourself to be. That is a law of assumption. Whatever you assume yourself to be now, so-called attracts, brings the physical reflections of itself in your world. Whatever, there is no limit. There is no good or bad. There's no right or wrong. This doesn't just work for the good. This works for the bad, so-called, because it's just a choice. But when we make choices in ignorance, the outcome seems bad because A, we weren't prepared for it, and B, we didn't like it. But it takes no more to get that outcome than it does to get the one you want. When you're at the vending machine, is it harder to push F8 than it is F9? They're just different choices, but they got drastically different outcomes, right? Apple juice is much different than Doritos, and they're only one button apart. The choice itself is not harder as far as what it takes to do it. It could become harder if you don't know. If you're a 3-year-old and you're pushing all the buttons, compared to if you're a 13-year-old and you push one particular button because you know how the law of the vending machine works. This button correlates to that snack. I push this button, I get that snack, period. We understand that. I have these sets of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about myself, my life, my world, everything. I push the button. The world is the vending machine. Ding, ding, here it goes. You don't have to do nothing. It's on the way. You've already put, all you have to do is push the button. All pushing the button is consciousness is the vending machine. The button is hateful or healthy or wealthy or successful or whatever else it is. So when they're talking about attracting, all you're doing now is bringing into your physical world that which you have assumed yourself to be. And to, I believe, as Sparkle Bailey's point at the beginning, you cannot bring into your physical world what you have not assumed or conditioned your consciousness to be. So what you're putting in essentially is the assumption, the conditioning of being something. The attraction is automatic. You don't have to look for it or find it. It's automatic. The assumption is not. The assumption you have to choose. And that's where we have to go from 3-year-olds to full-on adults. Don't push a button that you don't want. And then try to say, God will never. What do you mean? God chose. Wasn't that you? Well, I'll never eat too many chips and you chose the chips. Don't rationalize the dark. Don't reason with a mistake. Just say it was a mistake. But don't act like it was inevitable or it was some part of you that was necessary for you to be this or that. No, you just made a mistake. You did something in ignorance. Cool. The goal is to learn, right? Whatever it is that you are willing to choose, you can become. But if you don't choose it, you can't get the chips. The chips are not attracted to no money being put in the machine. The chips are not attracted to 35 cents if they cost 60 cents. They're not attracted to your desire. They're attracted to your currency, which is the assumption of being. You take possession in mind, and that's how you take possession in hand. That's how you take possession in hand. So when I say to you, Leslie, what do you want and how do you have it? If you over here giving me 35-cent answer for some 65%, for your 65-cent desire, guess what? If I say, Cynthia, the real estate educator, how is this happening? If you give me $1 answer for $1 million home, yeah, your funding is not approved. No. If we are not willing to assume, to say we are what we desire to be, we're unwilling to push the button. And even though we see the chips right behind the glass, even though we can see the desire right in our mind, clear as day, we will go without it. In the physical world, the currency is physical. In the conscious world, the currency is consciousness. In the conscious world, the creation is consciousness. By what you assume yourself to be, by what you are willing to say you are before you push the button. Before you push that button, don't you say, this is what I want? And so therefore you push the button? In consciousness, this is what I want. Therefore I push the button. I now am this. Now, when you push the button, is the thing in your hand as soon as you push the button? Doesn't it got to come through the machine? Don't you got to? So it may be a second. It may be 5 seconds. But it comes in your hand. It may be 5 seconds from the time you push the button to the time it's in your hand and you're opening it or whatever. When you say, I now am this, I push the button on this vending machine. I'm consciousness. I now am this. I'm conscious of being or doing or having. That's pushing the button. And it may take 5 seconds for it to come into your world physically, but it's already there, just like it's already in the machine. And you don't have to do anything more with your consciousness than you had to do with the vending machine, except pick with your currency and it will come to you. What you pick comes to you. Take a look around, all around you. Take a look at your body, your money, your health. Take a look at your car. Take a look at everything. All of those things you picked. Otherwise, they couldn't be there. They couldn't be there. As mature minds, we understand that. As immature minds, we blame it on somebody else. Somebody else gave that to me. Somebody else did that to me. Somebody else is this. Somebody else is that. Oh, my boss won't do that. Oh, my boss hates me. Oh, the weather's bad. Oh, it's the economy. There's COVID. There's swine flu, man. They're not making them like they used to. Oh, the house is too expensive. Now you can't have one. It's better to just, okay. Whichever one of those buttons you select, they're just options. Whichever one you select, so be it unto you. It's not religious. They just put it in a book that we made religious. But everybody in these books are saying the same thing. Whatever you desire when you pray, whatever you desire when you hit that button, that's what you're going to get. You believed you would receive it. That's why you push the button. Your consciousness, whatever you believe yourself to be, is the law of assumption. Whatever you assume yourself to be, that is what you are or you're becoming, period. You don't have to make it, create it. That creation is already finished before you got here. That's why you have a desire, and that's why you can assume yourself to be anything. Because the only reason you can assume it is because you can imagine it, you can understand what it is, and because it exists. And by assuming it, now it's going to exist to you. And when you assume it, now you have attracted it. Now it's coming down the machine. When you push that button, it's attracted to the bottom, right? To your hand, to your life. You don't have to do anything with the machine except push the button. You don't have to do anything with the world except assume. Choose what and decide what you want to be, do or have, and assume you are that. And it will come into your life. That chips come out the thing into your hand. The mechanism principally works the same. But you standing there hemming and hawing, I don't know. Well, okay, you just standing out there. You ever been like at In-N-Out or some kind of burger store or some kind of place, and people are standing there in front of you looking at the menu and can't decide? And they just standing there, and you standing behind them, and you trying to be grown, you trying to be adult and not rush and not say nothing crazy. But after a while, you like, okay, can I go in front of you or something? Can I? Because what you're doing is Veronica and I do it probably every weekend. What you want to eat? I don't know what you want to eat. What you want to eat? I don't know what you want to eat. Then we do that for 30 minutes in the house. Then we get in the car and ride around for 30 minutes and do it again. It's been an hour since we first started. Nobody's eating. Still in the same place. Right? But it's the same thing that's happening in our mind. Until we make a decision, until we're willing to say, this is what I want. And now I've decided. I'm now assuming that this is what I am. I pushed the button. That's only a matter of time. Maybe a minute, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, but it's only a matter of time. And I don't have to make this work. The part that I had to make work was pushing the button. If I have to do more to this vending machine than that, then either it's broken or I'm not doing it right. But the consciousness is never broken. Consciousness is who you are, believing yourself to be Leslie and Cynthia and Justin and Marcus and everyone else. Consciousness is who you are. Believing yourself to be something else. But how do you think this thing we're doing now is alive? How do you think it's working? It's assumed itself to be. And guess what it's still doing, obviously? Assuming itself to be. As long as it assumes itself to be, it will always be. And it will only be what it's assuming itself to be. That's it. That's the game, everybody. That's it. That's it. All right. Anybody want to say about that before I move on to the last part?
The blinders have been taken off.
Awesome. What do you mean?
I used to believe everything was possible, but from the vending machine standpoint, from using that same thought process, you were to walk up to the vending machine, what you want is in there, but you're not supposed to be able to see it. You push a button and then stand there and pray and hope that you get what you want. And then if you don't get what you wanted, you figure out how to pray and hope to like what you got.
Yeah. That's exactly right. That's when people say, oh, people always have it worse than you. Right. Oh, well, just be grateful for what you have. There's starving people in Africa. I mean, they've been saying that since we were all young. And they still starving. So if I didn't get what I wanted, then how come they still starve? I didn't get what I wanted. Why are they still starving? I just saw a commercial 2 days ago. They still got the same kid with the same flies. They didn't even change the music or nothing. You can't even give me a new one. You got the same cat out here. It's been 30 years ago since that commercial came out, and he's still out here. He's still the same age. Has he not aged at all? Right? Everybody's starving. And so I went without what I wanted. Everybody's starving still. So I didn't get what I wanted. He's still hungry. Then who got my stuff? But your consciousness is not Amazon. Nobody gets to go on your porch of your mind and steal your package. That's the good part about the consciousness, the neighborhood of your consciousness. You're the only one in it. Now, if you let somebody else come in and lay some packages down that not yours, money don't grow on trees. Oh, it's flu season. Oh, if you wet your hair and go outside, you'll get sick. Okay, you got their packages. You'll be convicted. You'll be convicted. You'll be sitting up there sick, right with them. Girl, I got that thing you were talking about. You too? Yeah. Oh, girl, let me tell you how it goes. So now then they done got your mind ready to be sick for 14 days. Can't taste nothing, can't smell nothing, can't see nothing. They done got you primed and ready to go for a prime time Ritz-Carlton illness. Got you up in there in a high penthouse suite sick. Yeah. Right? So yeah, that's exactly right. Nothing can be taken from your consciousness. Everything comes from it. Nothing can be taken from it. Only thing that we have in our physical world, which we call reality, which isn't, what we call reality is just a carbon copy, is the expression of it. Consciousness is the only reality, because consciousness is the only place where things are created and were created. And guess where ideas come to? Guess where nightmares come to? Guess where dreams come to? Guess where doubt comes to? All the same house. Because that's the only place where life is. And that life is expressed in your physical world, first being your body. Exactly right. All right, last thing. We have idea, an idea. A thought comes to your mind. And let's say now that thought is salad. Let's say you have, what are you going to put here?
Ingredients.
The ingredients, okay. What are you going to put here to experience that? Whatever this salad is to you, everything in it and on it, what are you going to put here?
A list.
A list for what?
So from what's in my mind to what I want to have, I'm going to make a list.
Okay, whatever you have and whatever's going on that list, and you now put it on your salad. What is this?
The choice, the decision.
Okay, but what does this represent? What is it? What is this? You have the idea. Your idea is a salad. Whatever your idea is, you now have made the salad. Everything in it, everything on it. What is this? What is that?
The choice you made.
What is the choice? What is this? What is the choice?
Desire.
Okay, what is that? What is this?
Whether you buy the salad or make the salad.
Yep, you have the salad, you made it, everything's on it. What is this?
Good assumption.
Okay, what is this?
Thought.
What is this? Oh, but okay, and what thought are you going to use for this?
Intention.
Okay. And how would your intention be represented?
The process?
Okay.
Leslie put creation.
What are you going to eat it with? What are you going to eat it with?
Your fork.
A bowl and a fork.
A fork. Are you going to use a knife?
Yo.
Are you going to use a spoon?
Chopsticks.
Do you know what chopsticks? Do you know what chopsticks were made from or made for?
I wasn't bad in class, but I just like to challenge my teacher, if you would.
Oh, cool, yeah, but I'm fire. So I always got something. Where chopsticks came from? Why they made them?
No.
Because back in the days, there were no guns. And even before really knives and things like that, the way people used them, they used a lot of bow and arrows. And so what they started doing was when you use bows and arrows, if you ever done that in archery and things, like you get calluses on the inside of your hands and things like that, right? Because you're constantly doing that. So when they were raising kids that they knew were going to have to be fighters and things like that with these bows and arrows, they started the first introduction to that concept were chopsticks. Because they're teaching them how to hold the chopsticks that was hard, and they were creating the calluses in between their hands. So that when they started using the bow and arrow, they already had that part of their fingers toughened by using chopsticks. That's where that came from. You're welcome. That was free. Now we're moving on. Right? Your fork. This is what you're going to use. Your idea, to your point, right? Your idea has an outcome. But the outcome, everybody's famous words, action. You got to take action. responsible action, radical action, satisfaction, protraction, whatever else, right? Everybody's talked about this word like it's the most important thing in here, right? And so your fork is the thing that you're going to use to experience your end. Does that make sense? Now watch this. So you picked a fork, why not a spoon? Why not a knife?
Okay, so the spoon doesn't have the necessary like prongs, and the knife doesn't have the necessary prongs. They're for different purposes.
Perfect. Perfect. No, exactly right. So I want you to remember that idea. Here's another one. Okay. Which one do I want to use? Okay, idea. Let's just say idea. Marriage/relationship. Boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage, doesn't matter right now. But just that concept in that line. What does this reflect? What is this? Man, it got quiet. Boy, it got quiet.
I can't see it.
Oh, so idea, right? Idea. Marriage, relationship. What is in the middle? What is this? What is this right here?
An agreement?
Okay. What is this right here?
A choice, a courtship, a fork. I don't know.
Yeah, but okay. What is the fork? It's the fork. So then what is this?
The ring.
What is this?
No, can you tell us?
It's the person.
Oh,
Who are you married
The
to?
commitment.
duh. Okay.
But here's the point, right? Everybody skipped it. Everybody goes from an idea to a marriage or relationship, but who's paying attention to who your idea is represented by this person. The idea of marriage or relationship is represented by the person you picked. So whoever you picked is a physical reflection of your idea, of the concept you have of this thing, of marriage or relationship. This person is physical, right? A fork is physical, right? The salad and the relationship is an outcome. It's what you're doing it all for. You're doing this outcome based on the idea. So the thing in the middle is the physical reflection of the idea of your outcome. So if you have an idea of a marriage or a relationship, whatever you want that outcome to be, you pick the person that physically reflects that. How many people do you think that way?
Very few.
Very few. Very few. Because they pick a person, but they don't necessarily reflect their idea or the concept of marriage or relationship. If you give a 2-year-old a salad, what are they going to pick to eat? What is it going to be their physical thing?
Hands.
Their hands. Why? Why is that?
That's all they're aware
That's
of.
all they know.
That's what they know. It reflects their idea, their concept of something. This is how they do that thing. You pick a fork because this is how you do that thing. You picked a person because you're saying, this person is how I do my idea. This is my concept. This person reflects your idea of the outcome. Now, you may not have the same idea. It may be changing. But the point is that you are always your physical world is a reflection of your concept of something. It's why you make all the choices you make. You're not free to physically pick the way you think you are. You're free. Your idea is free and your desired outcome is free, but the physical reflection of it is attracted. You have assumed the idea and its outcome, and you are attracting the physical thing. It's a physical reflection of your idea and its outcome. That's why you can't pick a good person if you have a bad self-concept. It's not going to work. because you won't pick them out of that self-concept. Your bad self-concept means you are not treated properly, or you don't feel treated, or you don't feel that way about yourself. So then you have to have a physical thing that reflects your thought, just as much as a fork physically reflects your thought. There's no difference. There's no difference. You cannot, that's why you said a baby's going to eat what with their hands, right? Oh, my baby's so cute. They're the smartest. All of them eat with their hands. Anybody say, any 6-month-old say, hey, you got a fork on you? Hey, what was that thing you using? The thing with the thing on the thing? You got one of them? Yeah, slide me one of them right there. Anybody do that? No, because they don't know. So the physical action they take, the physical thing means that they use is a reflection of their idea of this thing.
Put a little baby fork in front of them. They still don't use it.
They just gonna look at it like, yeah, anyway, I got my hands. I'm about to get to work. You over here wasting time. What is this? What is that? Babies do anything with their hands. Anything, everything. The good and the bad. You, right? Guess what? People use the good and the bad. People use the good person and the bad person. It's according to your concept. It's according to your idea, and your idea is your idea. So then the question then becomes, if your idea is your idea, then what is the question before that?
What am I thinking?
Nope.
Where did my ideas come from? Where did this come from?
Okay, yeah. And then, okay, so the question, okay, to both of you two, Veronica and Sparkle Bailey, then what's the question before that?
What's influencing my thoughts?
Okay, what's the question before that?
How did I get here, Coach Lucky? I don't know.
Who am I believing myself to be?
Who am I believing myself to be? Just like Leslie's. Who has a what? Who? The you, the Y-O-U capital all caps, is the one with the idea. The idea is the possession of you. Does that make sense? So just like a baby would use his hands, an adult would use a fork, a baby in mind is going to pick a different person than an adult in mind to physically reflect its outward thing. Is that correct? Yeah. So then if you wonder why you find yourself in the wrong place, it's because you are in the wrong place in your mind. The physical, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Yeah, but that's just the outcome of your mind not being where it's supposed to be. You wouldn't be here if you had a different idea. And if you had a different idea, you wouldn't be thinking what you were thinking. So you couldn't have ended up here anyway. You did not physically get here by accident, even if you didn't mean it. An accident doesn't mean that if you repeated the same thing wouldn't happen. It just means that you didn't mean what happened to happen. But it doesn't mean it's not repeatable. So then it's not an accident in the sense that it's not a mistake. It's just a thing where it was something you didn't intend. Like a half-court shot is not luck. If you keep hitting it, do the same thing the same way every time, you're going to make it every time. So then it's not luck. Just because you didn't mean it or didn't know how to do it doesn't mean that if you didn't repeat the same thing the same way, you wouldn't get the same outcome. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What is in the middle of your idea and your outcome is a physical thing, which you would call action. A knife, a fork, a physical thing. Your choice, your action is a physical reflection of what's going on in with the idea, with the outcome, that you. It is a physical reflection of you, of what the you is thinking, the you is believing, the thing the you is doing, the you is having. You think you want to have a better business. Who is actually having a better business? Who is that? You, right? The little you, so to speak, all of us, Leslie, Marcus, Mona, Kari, Cynthia, all the other stuff, right? The you, the little you, the physical us that we think we are, wants to have a bigger business. Then that means you got to go to you. The you now has to, the big you has to now have a different, you have to come back to it with a different concept and say, hey, look, I want to have a bigger business. I now assume I'm making $10,000 a week. The big you says, oh, okay, we're now assuming that to be. So now that is called the law of assumption, right? We're now in the law of assumption. We have now changed what the you, the big you, is identifying itself as. When the little you tells the big you what you now want to identify yourself as, the big you now brings back all the physical things that reflect the little you's desire. So now that means your business, something's going to change in your business, whether it's what, but you only know who and what based on the big U's identity, based on what the little you has told the big U it is. It's hard. I can't work for myself. It's not stable times. It's always better to do this and do that. Well, that is what the little you is telling the you to do. So with all those obstacles and things that you just created, the big U is going to create those in your world. How come I called this person? They didn't call me back. I thought they liked me. I've done 1,000 posts and nobody's still buying my products. I'm still, because you said businesses don't really succeed the first 2 years. So then what the heck are you doing it for 2 years for? Can you start after that? You know what? Can I get on? Let me start 2 years and 2 days. Right? The little you is always telling you, okay, it's always telling you what it believes itself to be. Right? And so what you believing yourself to be goes back to the little you and experience. That's why the little you that's an adult picks a fork. The little you that was little as a baby uses their hands. The little you that tells the big you that men ain't this and women ain't that, okay, they're going to pick a person that physically reflects men ain't this and women ain't that. Congratulations. That's not positive thinking. This is not, if I just, like Leslie said, and I just push the vending machine and close my eyes and say, come on, always bet on black. Right? Like we done turned so-called manifesting into Vegas. Yeah. We done turned it into blackjack. We out here rolling dice like it's 7th grade in a trap. No, this is not guessing. Gods don't guess. Gods declare and decree. This is God's choose. When you're 30 at the vending machine, you're God. You are clear and in your right mind and you know what to pick and how much it costs. Gods don't guess. Gods choose. Humanity guesses. Hopes, wishes, burns candles, sends a flare up in the sky, hoping that God, we don't do that. Gods don't do that. Gods choose, just like you do when you're grown at the vending machine, grown at the grocery store, grown in the checkout line, grown at the car lot, grown at Nordstrom or Macy's. Aren't you choosing? That's what gods do when you're in your right mind. But the same way you pick that shirt, because of who you are, is the same way you pick that person because of who you are. You pick that body because of who you are. You picked your money because of who you are. You picked your business because of who you are. You picked a fork or used your hands because of who you are. The things themselves are neutral. They don't exist without you. You're the one that picked them. Fork ain't ever jumped off the grass and bit nobody. Heart ain't ever attacked nobody. Last thing I'll say, because I know we got to get moving. Last thing I'll say is this. I was saying that to somebody this week. Nothing does anything to you. You use everything to do it to yourself. Nothing does anything to you. The sun ain't ever come down off the sky and burned you. Anybody touch the sun? Has anybody put their hand on the sun? The sun ain't ever done nothing to you, but you can use the sun to do it. You can use the sun to approve your fear of sunburn. Or your awareness of sunburn, even if you didn't mean it that way, you still have an awareness of what it can do to you. A knife ain't never hopped off the thing and stabbed you. A car ain't never fired itself up and ran you over. Nothing can be done to you because everything that you would use to do it, you are the creator of it. You're the authority of the knife. You're the authority of the sun. You're the authority of the ocean. You're the creator of all these things. So none of these things can do anything to you, but you use them to do it to yourself. Your concept of death or suicide, you can use something. People use medication. They drown themselves, jump off of this. None of those things did anything to them. They use it to do it to themselves. Oh, I'm not that pretty. I just hope somebody likes me. Okay, you use Ike Turner to yourself. You're going to use physical things to do to you based on what your concept of you is. Otherwise, those things would never happen to you. You're the creator of all of them. Your physical world is nothing but reflecting what you are believing. It's not doing anything to you. Like, it's not against your will. You're using it to do it to yourself. People use the economy to fail themselves because they have a concept of failure. They use COVID to make themselves sick. That's their concept of sickness. That's why some people get the flu, some people get COVID, some people don't, some people get this, some people get, it's just nothing but a physical reflection of your consciousness. Nothing is happening to you. You use everything to happen to you. You have to do the knife. You have to get the knife. You have to get the fork. You have to get COVID. You have to get it. It's not automatic. All right. Anything anybody wanted to say before I let you go? Any questions on it? People understand?
Coach Lucky, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just thank you. Got me reassessing all my life decisions. It's like this place is, because the morning meetup is everything to me. And so you have people in there and people in other communities that I'm a part of, and they're just like what you were saying, it takes 2 years to do this. You got to be patient, Sparkle Bailey. And in my head, I'm just like, man, you are so low vibrational. Don't tell me what I can't do tomorrow. Well, don't tell me what I can't do right now. And you just remind myself, my children, they weren't here today, but they're going to watch the replay. I'm going to make them watch the replay of this just to remember we control this. Gavin is going to the league. He's a baseball fanatic. He worships the sport, and he's going to the league. One day he's going to play in the major leagues, and we just support that. His dad, myself, and our family, we support that. And we just appreciate you and Vero every Saturday. I'm going to say thank you to both of y'all for just reminding us of our greatness. Thank you.
My honor and pleasure. Our pleasure.
Normally you're on fire, but today was a Northern California forest fire. It was all that.
Oh.
Neighborhood gone. Everything's gone.
Hey, that's the time you got to throw all this stuff out and start over.
Right.
Yeah,
You
awesome.
did it today.
Awesome.
I just want to say,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, I just want to say thank you. Yes, you hit home with a lot of topics today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate too. Absolutely. I have a podcast, and then there were things I'm looking at what's happening, and I'm thinking, as long as my content is out there, somebody will see it. That's what we keep hearing over and over, but that's not it. I'm not even speaking it into life. I'm speaking into maybe one day, and that doesn't make sense. And I couldn't make sense of it, but I get it today, really. I'm not even speaking the right words.
Well, now once you get it, you got it. Once you got it, you'll get it. It's a done deal.
That's it. Once you got it, you'll get it.
That's it.
I got my first TikTok sale yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Hey,
Receiving it all.
Congrats.
Right, there you go.
So,
Good, good.
Coach Lucky, I would like to say thank you. You always make me feel normal. I was talking to Coach Monique yesterday, and I swear you not, I was like, you always on every Saturday, and he's talking about being in present, and we always using words in the wrong way. And then today you just blew it out of the park. I love coming on Mindset Saturdays. I know sometimes I'm not always talking, but I'm always listening. I'm so grateful for your knowledge and wisdom, and thank you for sharing it.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. It's always a pleasure for all of us to share our knowledge and wisdom. We're all good at something. We're all getting everything from each other.
Coach Lucky, one more thing. Can I shout out your mom? She did.
No, God, no. She does not need encouragement at all.
Come off mute,
Shout
Miss
out to
Mona.
Mom.
Come off
God,
mute.
why are you doing this?
Come off mute, Miss Mona. Come off mute.
Are you
She gotta
guys?
get her flowers. She gotta get her flowers, bro. She did that. She did that. She did that. Shout out to Mom. We rock with you, Miss Mona.
Second that.
We
Yep.
rock with you.
Part of this.
You are a gift. Thank you so much for birthing this king.
Well,
Thank you for keeping his teeth in check. Those $3,000 teeth. Thank you for that.
4,000.
No,
$4,000 grill. Thank you, goddess. We appreciate you. You deserve your flowers.
well, that's good
And
talk.
please keep coming.
Any
Keep
more
coming
links?
every week.
Yeah,
Keep
she
coming
won't
every
get
week,
any more
regardless of what
links.
your son says.
Keep talking to her. She won't get any more links. She won't be on here again next week. Keep talking to her.
Hey,
Now,
all I gotta say is, from an outcome standpoint, everything she did, including the Neapolitan ice cream,
oh, man.
it should be repeated.
The ends do not justify the means. Okay? That was cruel and unusual punishment. I was getting bullied at school for having that type of ice cream. They're like, what is that? Yeah, so-and-so said you had this.
Loved. You was getting loved at school for
Getting
that.
loved.
I hear you.
Like,
Let him know, Amanda. He was getting that love. That was love.
yeah, see,
You were
that's right.
everybody's
See, you got it.
sweetheart.
That's it. I like it. I like it. Okay, I'm using the 2023 word now. Okay, have some compassion here. I was going through something. I'm still going through it. It wasn't right.
Marcus said, call CPS.
That's right. I don't know. We need somebody to come pick her up. It wasn't right, man. It wasn't right. Man. Hey, well, that's awesome, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming. We love and appreciate you all. It's so wonderful to see you every weekend. Thank you, Veronica, for your DJing on the ones and twos. Appreciate that. Thank you all every week for coming. It's such an honor and pleasure for all of us to talk. I know I probably talk the most, obviously, but it's a pleasure to have you all here, to hear from you, to see your faces on the screen, and just to see you here. It's an honor and a privilege and a pleasure. And I'm always honored that you all come so we can all talk and share. So thank you all, and apply it. This is not a sermon. This is not a service. This is not some kind of seminar on the weekend. Take it and apply it. Prove it. This is not about me. This is about the information. Take the information and prove it. Get your next TikTok sale like Leslie. Sell your next real estate stuff like the real estate educator, and sell your stuff like Justin is doing all this content, and Kari, and all of you guys doing your things. Do your thing. Take this information and do your thing. Speak your thing into what it is. Everything is now. I have a great podcast. Everybody loves. I got millions of subscribers and countless sponsors that are wonderful and good. People love working with me. They can't wait to work with me. I got a waiting list of 6 months worth of people waiting to work for me, man, and work with me. Everybody loves what I have to offer. Everybody's beating down my door to get what I got, to get my time, my attention. People, I'm a positive, important, impactful influence in people's lives. Stuff like that. You talk that talk. Get your thing going, man. Don't be out here like all these other people feeling sad for themselves and talking crazy and looking crazy. Ain't nobody got time for that, man. Catch me outside with that. I can't go with that. Can't go for that. Like the old song. No, can do. Yeah. I didn't even know half of the people that were singing these songs I like. I didn't even know half of them were white. Dudes were out there blowing back in the day. I was like, who's that? I was like, wait, that was so. And he was out there getting it, boy. Had a little mullet going. He was out there, do. I was like, boy, you out there getting it. Michael McDonald blew me away. Talking about, I was like, wait, what? Yeah, who was Michael McDonald? What was that song? You guys remember that one? Who was that? Remember that one? What was his song? God, what was his song? Michael McDonald.
I just remember On My Own with Patti LaBelle.
You know what?
You can't remember the name of the song because he mumbles through all of his songs. That's the problem.
Yeah, but he had a cut though. I can't remember what it is. But you guys know what I'm saying. But seriously, glad all you guys here. Have a wonderful weekend.
Coach, I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
No, the song.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what it is.
That's the one.
That's it. Every time that's it. Yeah, I was like, who was? I was like,
that was a jam.
Yeah, he had a little mushroom cut, little bangs in the front, like a little beard. Mike was out there kicking it. Yeah, it was it. Had the piano going. That's it. That's it. Every time you leave, that's it. Every time I see you smile, talk to him, Mike. Anyway. Have a good weekend, everybody. Appreciate you all for coming. Apply it. Talk that talk. Apply it. Assume. Step into it and hold fast to your assumption, and it will come. An assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. It will harden into fact. Everything goes that way. We're not doing nothing new. We're just doing it on purpose. Now we mean it, right? All right. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you next
Saturday.
That's it.
All right, Coach Lucky. All right, everybody. Have a blessed one.
Have a good one, man. Tell my boy Jeremiah I said, what's up?
Definitely will. Definitely will.
All right, big luck.
Yes, sir.
Thank
All right,
you,
brother.
Coach.
Appreciate you all. All right, Mark. Love you. Talk to you later.